Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone can hear me and see me clearly, inshallah ta'ala. And excited for this session. I know we didn't have our session last week. Fortunately or unfortunately, majority of the month of Ramadan was found in travel. But alhamdulillah, we're blessed to be back and inshallah looking forward to having the session with you all. For those of us joining us live, may Allah bless you and reward you. And for those that watch afterwards, inshallah, Allah bless you and reward you as well. And you also benefit from the session. This seems to be our final session, inshallah. And after the month of Ramadan, we will resume the different classes that Miftaah generally has to offer. And I encourage you all, if you're not a part of any of them, you can go ahead and search online what we have coming up, inshallah ta'ala. Hope everyone's doing well. If you want to just jump on and say salam and let us know, inshallah. Maybe you can mention, what session or what topic or anything specific that has stuck out to you throughout the Ramadan semester or the Ramadan sessions, anything that, resonated with you and stuck with you, any class, any specific topic, any instructor's class. You can choose Sheikh Abdullah. He would prefer that you say his name. Tawbah, the topic of Tawbah. Beautiful. Any other thoughts? Islamic manners. That's beautiful. Beautiful. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Hopefully it was diverse enough to keep everyone engaged, and hopefully everyone benefits and will continue to benefit. These sessions will always be available for you to go ahead and watch and review later on, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started, inshallah. Someone can put in the WhatsApp group as well that we are live. That'll be great. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wal aqibatu lil muttaqin was salatu was salamu ala ashraf al-anbiya wal mursalin. Ma ba'd. We're continuing with the beautiful Risalah written by the great Imam Muḥasibis rahmatullahi alayhi, and the advice that he is giving to his students, and of course by extension all of us. Pathway for those who are seeking Allah to find Allah, Risalatul Mustarshideen, the pathway that is provided for those who are seeking the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The last thing we spoke about was this, the advice that came from Ali radiallahu anhu, where he says, Ya ibn Adam, la tafrah bil ghina, wa la taqnat bil faqri, wa la tahzan bil bala. He says, don't get too excited when things are going easy. Don't become too passive, and don't put your guard down. Don't put your guard down when bil ghina, when things are easy, when things are comfortable, because also when shaitan comes and attacks. And don't become despondent when there's poverty. وَلَا تَحْزَنْ بِالْبَلَاءِ. Don't overgrieve the moments of difficulty. لَا تَفْرَحْ بِالرَّخَاءِ. Don't become too happy when things are going the way that you wanted them to go. We already spoke about this, so I won't comment on this. فَإِنَّ الذَّهَبَ يُجَرَّبُ بِالنَّارِ. Because verily gold is tested and is melted by fire, and the pure gold remains, and everything else melts away. وَإِنَّ الْعَبْدَ الصَّالِحِ. And a righteous slave of Allah, يُجَرَّبُ بِالْبَلَاءِ, is tested through difficulty, and the difficulty melts away all of that which pulled us away from Allah, all of those distractions that took us away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that difficulty now realigns and refocuses the human being towards Allah. وَإِنَّكَ لَا تَنَالُ مَا تُرِيدُ إِلَّا بِتَرْكِ مَا تَشْتَهِي. And verily you will not attain what you desire except by leaving and forsaking that which you and I crave. لا تنال ما تريد إلا بترك ما تشتهي. You have to be able to leave something to gain something. ولن تبلغ ما تؤمل إلا بالصبر على ما تكره. And truly you will not reach the mountaintops and the peaks of life that you hope to attain. You will not reach those peaks that you wish to be at in your career, in your life, in your deen, in your parenting, except for being patient upon the moments that you dislike. Those moments of that we dislike, that they're not the most enjoyable. Those are moments like, for example, people are learning ilm. We have to spend a lot of time learning, certain subjects. Some people don't enjoy them. Some people may not enjoy like conjugation of verbs or specific rules of grammar or specific rules of Arabic rhetoric. People may not enjoy it, but we have to learn it, because if we don't spend our time learning it, then understanding the Quran and the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ in Arabic become far more difficult. إلا بالصبر على ما تكره. We have to be patient upon those moments that Allah is doing our tarbiyah. And He says that go ahead, right? وَابْذُلْ جُهْدَكَ لِرِعَايَةِ مَا افْتَرَضَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكَ. And exert your effort, exert your juhud, your utmost effort in fulfilling that which Allah has made incumbent upon you. This is where we stopped. Now we continue from here, page 53 for anyone that is reading the Arabic as well. I think I've shared the English translation. I don't use that English translation, but that translation is well written from what I've seen. And inshallah, you can benefit from it as well, especially after the class is done. Whatever you want to continue reading it, will be of great benefit. He says, وَارْضَ بِمَا أَرَادَكَ اللَّهُ بِهِ. This is, again, he has so many gems, just nuggets, golden nuggets. وَارْضَ بِمَا أَرَادَكَ اللَّهُ بِهِ. Be pleased with that which Allah intends for you. Be pleased with that which Allah has written for you. And know that whatever He has written for us and whatever He has intended for us is better for us. Whatever He is planning for us, He is the best of planners. وَارْضَ بِمَا أَرَادَكَ اللَّهُ بِهِ. قال ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه وارض بما قسم الله لك تكن من أغنى الناس. Be pleased with that which Allah has distributed for you. When it comes to our rizq, our wealth, our family, our children, be content with it, be fulfilled by it, be pleased with it. And by doing so, he says, تكن من أغنى الناس. We will become the wealthiest of people. Ghani means to reach a point where a person is not reliant upon others. He is saying, if you become a person who is pleased with Allah's distribution of blessings, Allah's distribution of the bounties in your life, that yes, Allah has given this person so and so blessings, but for me He has distributed children, or He has given me a career that allows me to pray salat in the masjid, or whatever it may be. Allah's distribution is perfect. Of course, we're allowed to ask for more. Asking for more is not a sign of ingratitude. As long as we're continuously being grateful for what we have, asking for more from Allah is a sign that we have understood how the system of this dunya works. That إذا سألت فاسأل الله وإذا استعنت فاستعن بالله. That when you ask only Allah. By all means, we ask Allah for more. There's nothing lacking in a person's faith if they're asking for more, but there's definitely something perhaps that can be lacking in our faith if not receiving that more turns us away from Allah. We may receive it, we may not receive it. And we hope that Allah does give it to us. For 40 years, Zakaria alayhi salam asked for a child. And he continued to ask, even though the physical in the dunyawi, the worldly setup and the worldly elements was not conducive towards having a child. His age, his wife's age, they're beyond the age of having children, but he continued asking. So if a person turns away from Allah, if they don't receive, that becomes a problem. So being content has less to do with the person not wanting from Allah. It has more to do with people's eyes not being upon other people's blessings. You can still want more from Allah, But our eyes are not upon the blessings of other people. Most people who feel uncomfortable with what they don't have is because they started looking at what other people have. And their eyes are upon what other people have. How is a heart supposed to be content if the eyes of the heart is always looking for the bounties of others? Allah tells the Prophet وَلَا تَمُدَّنَّ عَيْنَيْكَ إِلَى مَا مَتَّعْنَا بِهِ أَزْوَاجًا مِّنْهُمْ. He tells the Prophet, do not extend your eyes towards the blessings that we have given to other people. Don't extend your eyes there. And a person, when they keep looking at other people's blessings and bounties, A, it may make them feel uncomfortable about their blessings, but B, it may also make them feel uncomfortable about their relationship with Allah. Why do they have and why don't I have? Right? And we know Allah is the best. Be pleased with that which Allah intends for us. So it takes a person, and it also makes relationships it fills it with negativity. Why did my nephew or niece get this, but my son or daughter didn't get this? Well, it's from Allah. It's from Allah. What they have is from Allah, and what you have is from Allah. Of course, we make an effort. Everyone makes an effort, right? Everyone makes an effort for something. إِنَّ سَعْيَكُمْ لَشَتَّى. Everyone's trying to accomplish something in life, right? So he starts off by saying, be pleased with that which Allah has decreed for you. You will live a life that is not reliant upon people. أغنى الناس. You will feel wealthy, right? إذا كنت ذا قلب قنوع فأنت ومالك الدنيا سواء. He says, if we live a life, Imam Shafi rahmatullah alayhi says, if we live a life that we are content with, he says, you and the king of the world are equal. Meaning, you'll be content with the movements that take place in your life. وَاشْتَنِبْ مَا حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكَ تَكُنْ مِنْ أَوْرَعِ النَّاسِ. He says, and be watchful, and be wary, and avoid. Ijtinab in Arabic comes from the word similar of junub or janib, which means to turn your side away. You give your side to something. The word janaba in Arabic means impurity, and literally the idea is wajtanib. Just like how a person runs away from janaba, from impurity, and washes impurity off themselves and avoids impurity, and so on. Just like how a person does that, wajtanib, treat sins like they are a disease. Wajtanib, and stay far away from it. Like, don't even turn towards it, turn away from it. Some people run towards the sin. Some people turn their back towards the sin. They don't want to, they don't trust themselves. They don't want to test whether or not they have enough taqwa. They just avoid that space. Avoid that sitting that has a conversation of ghibah. Just avoids it. وَاجْتَنِبْ مَا حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكَ. And avoid all those areas and all those spaces that Allah has forbidden us to be doing and to be involved in. And he says, you and I will become from the most pious and righteous of people. Righteousness, he is saying, the secret of righteousness is hidden within the ability of swaying ourselves and deterring ourselves away from a sin that is presenting itself. كيف أكون أعبد الناس? Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu asked the Prophet, how do I become the greatest worshipper? How do I become the greatest worshipper? The Prophet said to him, اتق المحارم تكن أعبد الناس. He said, O Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, stay away from the matters that are impermissible and that Allah has forbade us from. And your staying away from those matters will automatically put you in the rank of the most righteous worshippers of Allah. And our beautiful deen, growth is more reliant upon letting go than it is about adding. Right? Adding is something that can only take place once we have removed the filth in our heart. This is why, by the way, just if you can reflect on this later on as well, that when the Prophet speaks about good deeds being given, he also speaks about sins being removed. So for example, he says, when a person walks to the masjid, every step that they take, a sin is removed, meaning there is something being removed. And then a good deed is added. And Allah elevates a rank in Jannah for them. Hajj, Umrah, every good deed that we have in our life, they particularly are heavy on removing sins, habits, um, social interactions, tendencies that we have. Even Ramadan, the whole idea of Ramadan is how to be patient in front of people who are not as kind to us. That's the idea of letting go and removing certain tendencies that may be of harm to other people. So he says, just stay away from, washtanib, do our best. Do our best. And we will all slip and fall, and that's where we seek Allah's forgiveness and tawbah. Do our best. He's saying, do our best of staying away from that which is haram, and we will become the most righteous people. Awra'in nas. We will have the most wara' and the most righteousness in our houses and within ourselves. وَأَدِّي مَا افْتَرَضَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكَ تَكُنْ مِنْ أَعْبَدِ النَّاسِ. And fulfill that which Allah has made as an obligation upon you. Fulfill it. Know that it's something that is required for us to do whilst being His slaves. Whilst being His slaves, we are required to do this. This is the bare minimum for us to do. While we're praying salat, Allama Iqbal, he has a poem. He says, sometimes we do sajda as if koi qarz ada ho raha hai. As if like we're giving a loan back to someone, like we owe someone money, we're paying them back. जो सर्ब सजदा हुआ कभी तो जमीन से आने लगी ये सदा तेरा दिल है तो सनम आशना तुझे क्या मिलेगा नमाज में. So while you're praying, you have everyone else on your mind but Allah. So what do you expect from that salat? He continues, again, the next part of his beautiful advice. وَلَا تَشْكُ مَنْ هُوَ أَرْحَمُ بِكَ إِلَى مَنْ لَا يَرْحَمُكَ. He said, don't have doubts about who Allah is in your relationships within people. He said, don't have doubts. He said, don't doubt the love that Allah has for us. مَنْ هُوَ أَرْحَمُ بِكَ. Don't doubt the love that Allah has for you because of the flattery that people throw your way. إِلَى مَنْ لَا يَرْحَمُكَ. Towards those who have no love for you. And they actually they don't care of you. They're simply in this relationship with you or treating you in a certain way because of a benefit that you can provide them. Because something that you have that they can benefit you. Don't doubt it. And because when a person starts doubting Allah, shikaya starts. وَلَا تَشْكُوا. You start complaining about Allah to people who don't love you and don't love Allah. So don't doubt this relationship, because the moment a person starts doubting a relationship, they start going ahead and complaining about that person. So وَلَا تَشْكُوا. To translate the line directly, وَلَا تَشْكُوا مَنْ هُوَ أَرْحَمُ بِكَ إِلَى مَنْ لَا يَرْحَمُكَ. Don't complain about He who loves you more to those who don't love you. I'll give you a simple example. No mother would be pleased to hear that her son or daughter complained about her to someone else. No one loves you like how I love you. If you want to complain to me. Complaining about Allah is an act of grave disobedience. Complaining to Allah is an act of great obedience. إنما أشكو بثي وحزني إلى الله. Complaining to Allah is what the ibad who are beloved to Allah involve themselves in. Complaining about Allah is what the munafiqun would do. They would busy their gatherings speaking about the decisions of the Prophet ﷺ and why he gave certain amounts of spoils of war to someone else, or why he decided to tactically go for Uhud, or why are we going for Tabuk. Always complaining about the ayat of Allah. Always complaining about the commandments of Allah to the people of this dunya. I don't know why Allah made this. I don't know why Deen has done this to me. I don't know why Deen has made this happen. Who are we complaining to? To those who have no care for us, for our dunya, nor for our akhirah. Right? Sometimes a person complains about Allah to people whose iman is weak, and it pushes that person away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're like, man, if this person who's so righteous, I see them praying, they you know, live a life in a certain manner. We perceive them to be of righteousness, and now man, like if that's how they feel, then maybe this is not for me, right? Our words have impact. Our words have impact upon people around us, especially those who look up to us and those who rely upon us. So لا تشك من هو أرحم بك. Do not complain about the one who loves you more to those who don't love you. Don't let people put doubts in your mind about who Allah is. وَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ تَكُنْ مِنْ أَهْلِ خَاصَتِهِ. In those moments, seek Allah's support, and you will become someone who is part of His exclusive club. You will become someone who is a part of His exclusive fraternity of beloved slaves. That if you, in those moments, you complain to Allah, like how the Prophet ﷺ after Ta'if, when he was pelted with stones, Allahumma inni ashku ilayka dha'fa quwwati. Allah, I complain to you about the weakness within my strategy, in my planning. Complain to Allah, do not complain about Allah. He continues and he says, قال عبادة ابن صامت رضي الله عنه أظهر اليأس مما في أيدي الناس فإنه الغنى. He says, express, yes, a lack of interest. مما في أيدي الناس. Listen to this. He says, express a lack of interest in that which people have. Don't extend yourself beyond the minimum in looking inside of people's houses, looking at someone's car, looking at someone's watch. Because if a person starts always poking and looking at what other people have, like we spoke about earlier, there's no way that heart can remain content. There's no way that heart can remain content because they're always looking at other people's things. And if a person is always looking at other people's things, how will we be content? So he says, adhar, like show, express a lack of interest in what people have. Takun min aghnin. This is a correct. This is a completely. It's a higher level of lowering your gaze. Why did the Prophet ﷺ walk with his eyes down? Was it because he was afraid of sinning? Prophets are infallible. They don't sin, right? They don't have sins. So why was he always walking with his eyes down? Because of this. I'm not, whatever Allah has given you, my eyes are upon Him. My eyes are not upon you, right? My eyes are not upon you. My eyes are upon Him. And if my eyes are upon Him, I'm not worried about what you have and what you don't have. So, there's a beautiful statement of Hasan Basri rahmatullahi alayhi. He says, إنك لم تخلق لتفنى وإنما خلقت للبقاء وإنما تنتقل من دار إلى دار. Right? That a believer, yes, understand that الدنيا سجن المؤمن وجنة الكافر. Some things we may not get that blessing, but we're not here to perish. He says we're here to remain, but our blessings will be given to us in the hereafter. They're still going to come our way, but they're going to come later. So he says, أظهر اليأس مما في أيدي الناس. Show detachment, a lack of interest in what people possess. My father would say to us, in regards to when we're giving da'wah to people, he would say that you can never benefit someone's akhirah if your eyes are upon benefiting from their dunya. It's a conflict of interest, as they say. If you're there to benefit their akhirah, just benefit their akhirah. Don't feel that their dunya has a leg up on you. They don't. And I'm not saying this becomes a form of arrogance. No, this should become a form of security. That people that have, if we have Allah, well, they're not insecure. Now, it also doesn't mean, here's a balance that we want to make sure that we understand. The balance is that when someone is blessed with something, we make dua for that blessing, that Allah increases that blessing for them. MashaAllah, may Allah protect you and preserve your blessing. May Allah grant you more comfort. May Allah increase your blessing. Zadakallah. May Allah increase you. May Allah bless you more. And if we can't make that dua from our heart, you have a different challenge. That person has a challenge of hasad and ayn. That's a bigger challenge. Not only do you want what they have, you want them to not have what they have. So when you hear someone receiving a blessing that you wanted, for example, you wanted a job, someone else got it, make dua for them. Ask Allah to give them more of it. In that very moment, that's sabr, sadmatul ula. In that very moment, you make dua, Allah gives them more. The Prophet ﷺ would go to people's homes. He wouldn't praise the food, he would praise the host. He would make dua for the host. Our form of showing gratitude is by making dua to Allah to give that person more of that which they've been blessed with. If Allah blessed them with children, ask Allah to bless them with more children. If that's what you're seeing that you want, ask Allah to give them more of it. Allahumma at'im man at'amana. Oh Allah, feed the ones who just fed us. We sit in people's homes, people invite us, we eat, and we'll speak about the food for 20 minutes, but won't thank the host for 30 seconds. Right? We won't thank the host. We thank the food. Man, the food was really, really good. The Prophet ﷺ never spoke about the flaws in food, but he also never overpraised food. It was balanced. Right? You don't find any narration where he's like, "Oh my God, this thing slaps." Like what youngsters use nowadays. People like use these different words. Man, this was it. Yeah, I understand once in a while we can get overwhelmed by, oh my God, it's really tasty, it's really delicious. I'm not a foodie, so I don't necessarily resonate with those types of emotions as much, but I can understand it. I can try to be in your shoes for that moment. But when you're in someone's house, what if that food came from somewhere else? What if that food is just catered? Right? The food is catered. You're killing it. This food's like really good. The host is like, yeah, I mean, I guess so. It's supposed to be good. It came from Bandu Khan or something. It came from a great restaurant. Like, I understand it's good, but how about my skills of hosting you? But we're not allowed to ask, yo, was this food catered? For those that travel, some of the students that travel with us and that know us, one of my pet peeves is this, like when people start asking too many questions. Yo, is this food from catered? Like, wow, or how'd you give them the house, man, just eat and thank them and leave, right? Be nice. Prophet says if someone, looks around the house beyond the need of the scope that they have, we can poke their eyes out. Meaning, just don't. One time someone picked me up. I was traveling somewhere, and some of our students were with me, in the youngsters that were with me. And the person that picked me up in a very nice car. And I'm blessed with not knowing about cars, so I don't really get over again. I don't have that much attachment to the car because I don't know much about it, right? So the less you know about dunya, the less attached you'll be to those things too. I have other things that I enjoy, but not cars. It's Mufti Rahman's area expertise. So I sit in the car. I could tell it's a beautiful car. I mean, I'm not naive to the reality of this is a beautiful car, right? I love cars. I'm ignorant about them, and I'm like, wow, it's beautiful. I'm talking to the person. I said, MashaAllah, man, may Allah bless you, man. May Allah protect you. May Allah keep you safe in the car. Again, that's the sunnah. Make dua for the person, so you still recognize the blessing. Not you can't act like the person has a Aston Martin. You're like, okay, yeah, cool, man. It's like a Honda Civic. No, make dua for the blessing. Recognize the blessing of the person, and make dua for it, right? But don't overindulge. Yo, man, I can't wait. Just we're secure in the blessings Allah has given us. So one of my students in the back, man, this car is sick, beautiful. He's going all off. And he's like, you know what? It would have been better if you got the red leather seats. You have the black ones. I just wanted the seat of mine just to be pulled into the earth. Why would you say that for? Another one of them asked, this wasn't my student though, this was a youngster, because our students want to do this. He said, yo, is this a lease or did you buy it? Why does it matter for you? Why are you so attached to the blessing that he has? Why? Are you renting or are you buying? Why? What difference does it make in your life? Min husni Islam al-mar'i tarkuhu ma la ya'ni. From the beauty of a person's religion is that they avoid conversations that bring them no benefit. They avoid it. We don't have the mental space and the storage in our mind to care for these things, right? Just let it be. So that's what Allahumma at'am man at'amana. The Prophet would not praise the food, he would praise the host. He would praise the person that was hosting him, taking care of him, thanking them. So on one extreme, we don't want to overindulge in the blessings of people. We don't want it to compromise our da'wah. We also don't want to be people that are now, attached to the blessing that someone else has. Number two, we want to be able to praise the person and make dua for them in that blessing. If you know someone was blessed with a child or got accepted to a school that they were trying to, take out time and say, Mabruk, congratulations. May Allah protect and preserve you. Don't live in spite for that person's blessing. Allah won't give you a blessing then. Be generous in your du'as and be generous in your words of kindness. Even if you're not genuine, Allah will make you genuine. Even if you're not, Allah will make you genuine. Be happy for them, Allah will give it to you as well. Be pleased for their blessing, Allah will give you that blessing too. Right? It's being Imam Ghazali rahmatullah alayhi says, being stingy with wealth is bad, but I can understand it. But being stingy and miserly with your words and your du'as, I don't understand it, because wealth, it may finish. But your words and your du'as, they have no end. So why would you be stingy with it? Why would you hold back? Just give. Then he says, وَإِيَّاكَ وَالطَّمَعَ وَطَلَبَ الْحَاجَاتِ فَإِنَّهُ الْفَقْرُ. Allahu Akbar. He said, beware, be watchful of greed. Tama'. This tama', one of the statements of Hasan al-Basri rahmatullah alayhi, he says that tama' is what kills a person's good character. It strips their character away. Tama' is having greed. When a person has greed in their life towards something, they don't care about how they get it. They're not worried about their process, they're worried about their outcome. They're just driven by the outcome. Tama', a person has tama', like the brothers of Yusuf had tama' for the time of their father, so they went above and beyond to want that time. A person has tama', it blinds them. Their rationale now becomes blurred because this greed towards that blessing propels them beyond anything else in this world. Right? Tama' in some things are such that the tama' of them is also haram. Right? If someone else has something, you can't have tama' for it. You can't have greed for what they have. You can ask Allah for something, but you can't have greed for what they have. He says, so avoid having this internal greed of wanting things that people have. Just let it be. What you have is probably what they want. I was in Houston in Ramadan for a few days. For anyone that's joining from Houston, beautiful city, beautiful people. And as many of you know, it's known for its really good food. It's, again, I'm not a foodie. I haven't eaten out much. I eat in people's homes. May Allah bless them and increase their blessings in their homes, in their families. But one of the youngsters I was sitting with, like, you're from, and he asked me where I was from. I was from Michigan. He's like, and it came up that he mentioned New Jersey came up. He was working there. He was visiting. He was at school there. I said, what do you miss about New Jersey? Like, man, New Jersey has the best food scene. I'm like, what? You're from Houston. Everyone knows in America that the Desi food scene of Houston it's second to none. In Canada you have Mississauga and Toronto, but in America there's nothing that compares. And he's talking about New Jersey's food scene because they have halal food carts on the streets. Everyone's looking, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, because he's been living in Houston so long that now he's looking like New Jersey. The grass is not always greener on the other side. Everyone has their own challenges. Those that post about certain things in their lives, we ask Allah to increase them, but we don't need to have tama' for them because we know that they have their own challenges as well. We're not saying that they should have challenges. We're not hoping that they have challenges. We're not like, yeah, they look happy, but I'm sure behind the camera they're not happy. Don't say that. Don't say that. Yeah, I mean their family looks very happy, but I'm sure when this happens they're not happy. But we don't need to say that. There's no benefit in saying that. Nothing. Except that Allah increases our jealousy and envy of that person. The tongue is a direct translator of the heart. Translator. What's in the heart. So if I'm saying something, that's what the heart is thinking of as well. He says, also avoid seeking favors from people. Be careful who you seek favors from. That's a debt upon us. And be comfortable giving favors to others. He says, seeking favors, فَإِنَّهُ الْفَقْرُ. Asking for favors is poverty. It's poverty. Don't ask for favors. Don't always ask. Don't always be a person that asks and asks from people. Yes, if it's a need, you should ask. But one of the qualities of the Sahaba that Allah highlights in the Quran is لا يسألون الناس إلحافا. They would not ask openly. Rather, you would think just by seeing them, يحسبهم الجاهل أغنياء من التعفف. Like you would think that they're wealthy because of the way they carry themselves. Some people may look wealthy just because they're so completely fulfilled with the blessings Allah has given them, but they don't have food at home for their families. The Prophet ﷺ never came off poor to the Sahaba. Why were the Sahaba surprised when they heard about the Prophet ﷺ leaving this world and no oil being in the house? Because the Prophet ﷺ never presented himself to be in need of people. Never presented himself in that way. Yeah, he was poor, and he chose to live a life of poverty. He was the richest poor man. He had access to the wealth of the world, but he chose to live a life because the majority of his ummah will be of that nature. The majority of his ummah will be of that nature. These are his words. But my point is to say that why was Sahaba surprised when they would hear about the Prophet not having a meal to eat for 2-3 days? If they knew the Prophet was in poverty, don't you think that they would have ran to his house and given him food every single day of the week? Why was Umar radiallahu anhu reflect on this? Why was Umar radiallahu anhu surprised when he saw the Prophet getting up from his mattress and his straw mat and there were marks on his back? Like, why was he surprised about it? He was like, Ya Rasulullah, like Umar radiallahu anhu he's part of the cabinet of the Prophet. He knows everything about him. But he doesn't know that his straw mat is such that it leaves a mark on his back. He doesn't know that. They don't know that. Because the Prophet didn't come off needy. Came off very fulfilled. And when there is a need, you ask. And you ask those who are close to you, who are the closest to you. And so if someone does ask, أَمَّا سَائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ, we do not turn them away. The two opposite extremes of of the spectrum. On the spectrum of asking, we do our best to avoid asking. On the spectrum of giving, we try our best to give the most. Try our best to give the most, right? We overextend ourselves at times if we have to. Like the Prophet ﷺ would overextend himself. One day, a man came as he was sitting in the masjid with other companions, and he came and said, Ya Rasulullah, give me. And the Prophet gave from what he had. Second person comes, the Prophet gives again from what he had. The third person comes, the Prophet gives from what he has. The fourth person comes, and the Prophet has nothing left. All of the money that he had, he has now given it. So the man asks, Ya Rasulullah, I need some help. Give me some money. The Prophet has nothing to give. He turns towards those around him and says, can anyone loan me some money so I can give it to him? And Umar radiallahu anhu sees, Ya Rasulullah, what's wrong with you? Ya Rasulullah, what's going on? سُئِلْتَ فَأَعْطَيْتَ سُئِلْتَ فَأَعْطَيْتَ. You were asked and then you gave. You were asked and you gave. You were asked and you gave. But now you don't have. Why are you still giving for? Let it be. You don't have to give anymore. You don't have. And the Prophet just smiles. It's okay. Putting ourselves into inconvenience for the needs of others is a privilege. It's a privilege. At least we're not on the end that we're inconveniencing people for our needs. Like a mother does not consider it to be a burden when she is inconvenienced by her child when she's feeding her baby. A mother considers it to be an honor that Allah has given me a child and a baby. Father doesn't consider it to be inconvenience to serve his kids or his kids. Right? We love the ibad and the iman of Allah. We love each other for the sake of Allah. I have to be inconvenienced for someone else's need. Not want or desire, but their need. That's not a burden. We don't give with a chip on our shoulder. We give with humility in our heart. That Allah has given us the opportunity to help someone and to be there for people. We're being challenged by giving. At least we're not being challenged by having to ask. So he says, don't seek favors from people if you don't need them. فَإِنَّهُ الْفَقْرُ. Right? But also don't go to the point that it becomes arrogance. Like, I'm never going to ask anyone for anything. That's also an arrogant thing to say. You need to ask, you're allowed to ask. We're not Allah. We're not Samad. We're not Ghani. We're Faqir by definition. So we're allowed to ask. Meaning for example, you have siblings. You can ask your siblings. Ask your friends if you need to really ask. But don't be someone who's always asking. Sometimes the culture of America is we're always asking for handouts, always asking for favors, always asking people for things. No, there comes a point that if I can't buy it, I won't get it. وَإِذَا صَلَّيْتَ فَصَلِّ صَلَاةً مَوَدِّعٍ. And when you pray, pray each prayer as if it is your final prayer. Okay. He then says, we'll do we'll do two more pieces of advice. He says, وَعْلَمْ. I'm going to answer that question at the end, inshallah. Just remind me. وَعْلَمْ أَنَّكَ لَن تَجِدَ طَعْمَ الْإِيمَانِ حَتَّى تُؤْمِنَ بِالْقَدْرِ خَيْرِهِ وَشَرِّهِ. He says, know that you have not reached or tasted the sweetness of faith until you know and believe in all qadr comes from Allah, the good and the bad. The moments of ease come from Allah, and the moments of difficulty also come from Him. قُلْ كُلٌّ مِّنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. All of it comes from Allah. Well, how does that make it easier? You know, if I'm sitting here and someone from behind me comes and hits me in the back, or like that, yeah, hits me in the back, or holds my head or my back or my neck, and I can't see them. I see there's no camera on. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look back, ready to retaliate. Like, get your hands off me. Get off me. But if I look back and I see like one of my older brothers, or I see someone who's close to me, someone who's really close to me, like a really close friend, like a brother. If I see one of my brothers doing it, I'm like, whatever, it's cool, no biggie. If I go out and my car is someone took my car, I'm like, yo, my car go, where my car go? Then I find out that a friend of mine or one of my brothers just took it out for a spin. Whatever, it's cool. You know what? The reason why the idea of knowing that Allah is the one that is put you there and put me there is comforting is because Allah loves us so much. It's like my brother grabbing my neck, like, yeah, whatever, it's cool. Allah put me there, that's all right. Allah loves me. Allah doesn't hate me. Allah loves me. So if He took something from me, it's because He loves me. It's not because He has something against me, like a vendetta out for me. Allah doesn't need us. Why would He have something? We're not that important. We're not that special that Allah is wanting to challenge us in a way that is different than everyone else. Everyone's being challenged. Challenges are difficult for sure, but knowing that they came from Allah, it alleviates some of the pain of that difficulty, because that's comforting. Allah is the one that put us there, and similarly, Allah is the one that's going to take us out. The power of Allah is that He can also take us out from that situation. Right? He can also undo the pain of that moment. أَيُّوبَ إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ أَنِّي مَسَّنِيَ الضُّرُّ. Allah, you put me here. I know you put me here, but I'm not going to say you put me here. أَنِّي مَسَّنِيَ الضُّرُّ. Difficulty has touched me. وَأَنْتَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. And you are the most merciful amongst those that show mercy. You're the most merciful. So to know that, it allows a person to enjoy the sweetness of faith. Some companions came to Bilal radiallahu anhu and said to him, how did you manage to stay strong in the moments of persecution in Mecca, being, persecuted in the scorching sun of Mecca, upon the sand of Mecca, boulders on your back and your belly? How? He responded, oh, beautiful. He says, مُزِجَتْ حَلَاوَةُ الْإِيمَانِ بِمَرَارَةِ الْعَذَابِ. He said that the pain of difficulty in persecution was mixed and infused by the sweetness of obedience. Like, it was painful, like standing in tahajjud is painful, but then the sweetness of sajda is so enjoyable. That's what he's saying. And the enjoyment that came from saying ahad and Allah's obedience was it was so fulfilling that it made that difficulty in the persecution feel numb to me. It's okay. When a person is enjoying like the food that they're eating, so spicy, but like, yo, so good. Like, it's so good, man. And we play sports and you're injured, like, yo, I enjoy playing. I don't even feel it. That's what he's saying. And then he says, وَكُنْ بِالْحَقِّ عَامِلًا وَكُنْ بِالْحَقِّ عَامِلًا يَزِدْكَ اللَّهُ نُورًا وَبَصِيرًا. I'm quickly just going to translate this part. وَلَا تَكُنْ مِمَّنْ يَأْمُرُ بِهِ وَيَنْهَى عَنْهُ. And be a person that acts upon the truth. Allah will increase your light of the eyes, and He will increase your light of the heart. He will increase your nur and your basira. Nur is to see with the eyes. Basira is to see with the heart, meaning to see with your senses, but to also see beyond limitations of the world. Like a mother and a father doesn't just look with their they don't just look with their eyes, they look with their heart. Will this be better for my son or daughter in the long run? Parents look with their heart for their kids, right? When there's love, you look with your heart. So he's saying that when you obey Allah, Allah gives you the ability to look with your eyes, but He also gives you the ability to look with your heart. Your heart becomes a means of guidance for a person, right? And that's why it's so important to try our best to continue seeking tawbah, so our sins are wiped away from our heart, so our heart needs to have 20/20 vision. Our eyes may lack, but the heart needs to have 20/20 vision, because then we can make the right decisions for ourselves and our families. وَلَا تَكُنْ مِمَّنْ يَأْمُرُ بِهِ وَيَنْهَى عَنْهُ. Don't be from those people that command good, but they themselves, distance themselves away, and they pull themselves away from it. Yan'a means to step away from it. So they're telling people to do it, but they themselves are like, this is not for me. That's dangerous. Allah says, كَبُرَ مَقْتًا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَن تَقُولُوا مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ. كَبُرَ مَقْتًا. This is a great sign of hatred in the sight of Allah. That Allah dislikes this act so much. One of the most detested acts in the eyes of Allah is to tell people to do something. And now here it is, guys. I want you to pay attention. To tell people to do something, and not that you don't do it yourself. That's normal. It happens, right? It's not a condition that everything that we call towards we do it, but it is a condition that everything we call towards we want to do it. A sign of hypocrisy is not that we don't do what we say. A sign of hypocrisy is we tell people to do something, but we don't want to do it ourselves. Imagine a person telling you, send your kids to so and so school because it's the best school in the district. You're like, well, what about you though? You're like, I don't want to send my kids there. It's different than saying, I want to send my kids, but I can't afford the tuition. It's different, right? It's very different. Someone saying like, hey man, you should invest your money in this in this opportunity. So the brother asks you or sister asks you, why aren't you investing your money? Like, I would want to. I don't have money though. It's very different, right? But not wanting to, it's very shady, right? So that's the idea. Allah doesn't remember this. لِمَ تَقُولُونَ مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ. People try to use this against us, like, hey, don't give da'wah. If you give da'wah, then you have to. No, the condition is that when I call towards good, I myself want to do it. That's why we're calling towards it. If I am struggling with tahajjud, I will give da'wah about tahajjud, because I want to also pray tahajjud. So the more we speak about it, the more our heart desires it too. If we only speak about the things that we're doing, then my dear friends, we won't have the right to speak about much. We're speaking about the things that we want to be doing. That's what this is saying. Yeah. Then he says, فَيَبُوءُ بِإِثْمِهِ وَيَتَعَرَّضُ لِمَقَةِ رَبِّهِ. If you always call towards good and step away from the opportunity yourself, meaning not that you don't do it, but you don't want to do it, then definitely this person is taking a huge sin with it. Right? وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من وعظ ولم يتعظ وزجر ولم ينزجر ونهى ولم ينتهي فهو عند الله من الخائبين. Allahu Akbar. Whoever advises, but they themselves don't take heed, may Allah protect. May Allah protect. Whoever advises, but they themselves don't take heed, right? You would want to advise people, advise them the way you would want to be advised, right? And in that advice, always remember where can I also take benefit from this? People that we advise, even if they're younger than us, whoever they are, they're not our children. They're not people who don't have hearts, who don't have they're adults. Sometimes you're advising adults. Advise them with care. They also have, a level of insecurity about perhaps about what's going on in their life. Don't advise them with rashness and boldness. Advise them with gentleness and kindness. That your advice, the aim of the advice is take them towards that which benefits them. The aim of the advice is not to tell them about it. Advice is given so the person can find a way to reach that point. Advice is not given to inform people about what's right. We give advice to inform people, like, this is what's better for you. We don't generally give advice to take the person there. Advice is not given to pass on information. Advice is given to pass this person forward, to make them reach that level. So be very careful with a person's heart, right? If Allah has given you the responsibility to advise people, that responsibility is not superiority, that's liability. You're not superior to them, you're liable for them. Sometimes we get advice as if we're everyone's teachers. We're not their teacher. We're their brothers, their sister, their friend. Yeah, sometimes they need tough love. Tough love is needed. Like, yes, but tough love, not just tough, right? And people that advise, but they don't heed to their own advice or to other people's advice. Someone that's always seen giving advice, but they don't take advice. That's also troubling. وَزَجْرَ وَلَمْ يَنْزَجِرْ. And they tell people to, stay away from things, but they themselves don't stay away from it. وَنَهَا وَلَمْ يَنْتَهِ. Similar concept that they, forbid people from certain areas and spaces and acts, but they themselves don't take heed. فَهُوَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ مِنَ الْغَائِبِينَ. In the eyes of Allah, in the sight of Allah, this person is from the biggest of all losers. He says, وَلَا تُخَالِطْ إِلَّا عَاقِلًا تَقِيًّا وَلَا تُجَالِسْ إِلَّا عَالِمًا بَصِيرًا. Don't mix with crowds of people who are ignorant and who are not God conscious. Mix with people who are God conscious. Mix in spaces, in gatherings, in environments that bring you closer to Allah. Do not sit with people who don't have the sight of the heart and only have the sight of the eyes. That's what he ends with here, and of course there's so much more. We're only on page 57. The book has more than 200 pages, but inshallah, if Allah allows us, subhanahu wa ta'ala, we'll be able to continue this maybe in the summer. Maybe we'll try to find a way to include this as a class in the summer immersion or sometime in the summer. You all can join. I would love to finish the book. And inshallah, I'll finish it with you all. May Allah bless you all. May Allah reward you all. One of my favorite reads is this book, and I think it brings great benefit to be able to just dissect his beautiful advice. Just read it. I do encourage you all to read the translation. It's been shared. The translation itself is very, very valuable. It's very informative. It's of great benefit. But inshallah, if you found benefit in these sessions, inshallah ta'ala, we'll try our best to continue it somehow, some way afterwards as well. So may Allah bless you all, reward you all, inshallah ta'ala. The question, how do we know? No, I'm not muted, it's probably just your internet. How do we know when we're giving for humility? People are not taking advantage of. A lot of people struggle with this. So of course, the whole idea of giving is that we strengthen them to be able to figure out how to do their own thing, right? So again, if someone is feeling that they're being taken advantage of, then they should step away. If they're being now, inconvenience is different than oppression. Like if you're feeling oppressed by it, the Prophet was told, "La tabsutha kull al-bast." Don't open your arm fully. But I would caution to say that sometimes we think we're being like overwhelmed, but it's just in our head. We're not. Like, yeah, it is a lot, but you know what? No problem. But of course, if there is, like, if a person is feeling oppressed and overwhelmed, they should kind of remove themselves from that situation and guide someone else to speak to that person. Or you, if you're close enough to that person, you tell them, "Hey, man, like this is becoming too much for me." Express that emotion to them, so they know that you feel that way about them. But yeah, don't put yourself into harm's way because of someone else. That's not permissible, right? Don't get taken advantage of, right? But be able to know where to draw the line of you're being taken advantage of, or where you're just feeling like you're being inconvenienced. Did the Prophet stay poor after Khadija passed away? The Prophet chose a simple life from the time of prophethood. Even when Khadija was alive, he was very simple. The money of Khadija, and the Prophet himself was a very wealthy merchant as well, right? He was a CEO of the business. Khadija radiallahu anha, people don't understand, like she was the founder. The CEO of her business was the Prophet ﷺ. But he stopped when he became a prophet. So he had, whatever money that was there was used to support the deen of Allah. So he always chose a simple life, even before in Makkah al-Mukarramah. May Allah bless you all, reward you all, inshallah. If there's no other questions, I'm going to step away, inshallah. Today is the 27th night. We have our khatam here in Michigan. Make dua for us, inshallah. We look forward to seeing you all soon. Please remember us in your du'as in these blessed nights as well. Miftaah, us brothers, the teachers, the students, one another, the ummah. Inshallah, we see you all very soon. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.